Hello, good afternoon. My name is Anna, and we welcome you to this online informative session of the Industrial Engineering in Global program, a bachelor's degree with classes 100% in English offered by the College of Engineering in CETYS University. During the broadcast, we will be presenting this new educational program, its characteristics, the advantage, and everything it has to offer to students interested in pursuing an industrial engineering degree that opens doors to other countries. To present the program, we have here Dr. Jorge Sosa, Dean of the College of Engineering. How are you?
Hi, Anna. How are you? Thank you for having me. Hello, everybody out there that's watching or hearing the transmission. Best wishes to you. I hope you are safe and healthy. Be well.
Also, we invite you to share the transmission so that this information reaches to all the interested students and parents. Please leave us your questions or comments so that we can answer live or give you personalized attention. Okay, let's start. To start this session, Dr. Sosa, can you tell us a bit about the global programs and those that are being offered here by the College of Engineering in CETYS University?
Sure, of course. CETYS University has a series of programs, a group of programs that fall under the banner or the category of global programs. Now, what are these global programs? These global programs are programs that have differentiating characteristics that provide the student additional and complementary internationalization and global experiences, learning experiences. Now, one of the common things that these global programs have is that classes are taught completely in English. And there are some other differentiating factors that we'll talk about in a minute. In the case of the College of Engineering, the first global program that we launched is our Industrial Engineering Global program. We launched the program in 2018 here in Mexicali. The first cohort of the program with 24 students right now is finishing up their sophomore year. And then in 2019, we had another group of students, around 24 students also, and they're just finishing their freshman year. The students are very motivated, and the program offers a series of elements that are very interesting to students that want this plus in studying their academic program.
Perfect. Now, can we talk about those differentiating aspects that you mentioned of the industrial engineering that is offered here in CETYS of the College of Engineering?
Sure. So the first differentiating element that I've just mentioned is that classes are taught completely in English. Okay. So this is important because it provides the students an opportunity to practice and develop their English speaking skills in a setting where they will be speaking technical language that's associated to the career that they're studying. These classes are taught with faculty from the College of Engineering that are prepared to teach classes in English. For example, I teach my classes in English. I teach in the global program. If any of my students are watching, you've got homework, do your homework. But also, we take advantage of the network of faculty that we have from our partner institutions. So we have guest faculty from our international partners that also teach classes in the global program. So that's one of the differentiating elements that our program has. The other differentiating element is that students of the Industrial Engineering Global program have a compulsory international experience that's part of the academic program. So students can take advantage of any of the international experiences that we have here at CETYS. This could be a short program in the winter or the summer. It could be going abroad for a semester. It could be the dual degree. And some very specific courses that are going to be taught for our Industrial Engineering Global programs. So that's the second element. The international experience is embedded as a part of the program. The third differentiating element is the professional practice or internships that the students are going to be doing with a global focus or perspective. And I'm going to give you an example of something that we're currently doing.
Please.
So right now, for example, we have a very interesting project that's being done with a university in the United States that's called Harvey Mudd College. You can Google Harvey Mudd College. It's a college that is focused on project and problem-based learning. So students do projects, and these projects are linked with industry and with companies. So currently, we're running a project with our industrial engineers where we've got students from CETYS, students from Harvey Mudd College, and both teams are working to solve a project for a company that has a global footprint, okay? This is interesting because the students are applying this global perspective in collaboration with students from another university in the United States. So it gives them that global perspective for their professional practice or internships. The next differentiating aspect is that all students are going to take a course at the end of their semester, at the end of their programs. That's the application project. That application project is going to be done in a company that's part of our network of companies that have a global footprint. And again, the project is also going to have this global perspective with the incorporation or the possibility of part of the project being done abroad. And the last differentiating element that our program has is that students, when they take this program, they are going to receive a professional certification in a specialization area of industrial engineering. Now, this can be Lean, for example. This can be Six Sigma. This can be operational excellence. And this is important and interesting because these sorts of certifications, usually professionals take them once they are working or graduating. Our students of our Industrial Engineering Global program, when they graduate, they are already going to have this certification. And this certification is going to be done also with one of our partner institutions. I forgot to mention one thing. I mentioned that we launched the program here in Mexicali in 2018. So we're in our second cohort. But we're very excited because we're going to be launching the program in our Tijuana campus. So the program is also going to be offered this year, 2020, in our Tijuana campus. So we're expanding the reach of our global programs to the other campuses of CETYS. So that's kind of an overview of the differentiating elements that our program has.
Perfect. And now can we talk about what comes after they study industrial engineering? What do they do as a professional?
Okay, that's a great question because we're talking about industrial engineering. So yes. If you're not an industrial engineer, you might not know what an industrial engineer does. Yes. Okay, and in the end, you're going to study an academic program because you want to be working in that area or that profession, and have a valuable work that provides you that lifestyle that you're looking for. In the case of an industrial engineer, I'm going to try to summarize what an industrial engineer does. Okay, an industrial engineer works with systems and processes. Okay? What does an industrial engineering do with systems and processes? He or she analyzes systems and processes, designs them, improves them, and optimizes them. Now, that sounds like a lot of technical mumbo jumbo. I'm going to try to simplify it a little bit. Okay, so a system or a process, the industrial engineer understands it. Okay? He or she can make them. He or she can make them better. And he or she can make them even better or the best version of these, okay? But still, there might be some doubts. When you're talking about a system or a process, what are you talking about? I'm going to give you some examples. Okay, so a system or process could be a manufacturing or a production line that makes automobiles or that makes power cells for automobiles that don't run on fuel. So that production system has different processes that receive certain inputs, and in the end, what do you want? You want the car, okay? Those are processes where an industrial engineer can analyze those processes. He or she can design, so he can create a process to manufacture a certain part, but they can also monitor these processes because in the end, for example, the car has to meet certain quality standards, right? So the quality monitoring, that's another thing that an industrial engineer does, but he or she can also improve the process and optimize it so we can have the most amount of cars being produced. And in the end, also, we have to get those cars to the people who are going to buy them, right? So there are supply chains that get these to the customer. The industrial engineer also knows about that area, everything that has to do with logistics and distribution. That's another area that the industrial engineer does. But right now, that example that I gave is in a production system, right? And that's more focused towards industry. But the same principles can apply to, for example, and this, I love this example when one of our colleagues, Dr. Carlos Solorio here in Mexicali, gives us that example. Let's talk about Disney, for example, or a theme park. Theme parks receive a lot of people every day, and they've got a lot of rides that the people want to go on. So before, many decades ago, you had to make an extremely long line to do that. You still have to do that, but now I think some of us identify this new mechanism that are the fast passes. Okay, industrial engineers were behind the design of the fast passes. And that is a way where a system or a process, which is basically that I want to get to a ride, a person wants to get to a ride, and also I want to be able to do as many rides as possible during the day. It's a way where you can optimize that system. So industrial engineers were behind that. So it doesn't necessarily or only have to do with a production system. It can be any sort of system where you want to either analyze, design, improve, or optimize. So those are some examples where an industrial engineer can apply his or her profession. Oh, another example, I'm sorry. Some of the banks, for example, have implemented certain waiting systems where you don't wait in a line, where we've gone to some banks where they have the chairs, for example. That was a redesign of the queue system or the waiting system of banks where industrial engineers were also involved. So it isn't necessarily the production system where you're going to be producing an airplane or a microchip or a cell phone or a car. It could be any sort of systems and processes to be analyzed to make them better. And the challenges that are happening right now in the world, we are going to be needing to create new systems and processes that currently don't exist. Who's going to do that? These engineers are going to do that. So basically right now, we need professionals and engineers that know how to, again, understand processes, how to make them better, and how to make them the best. And the industrial engineer and the global version of the industrial engineer is going to be able to do that.
Why is it so important today for someone to study an industrial engineering in the global program modality?
Okay, well, again, hello, we're back here. So as I was mentioning before, first off, the world needs engineers right now. The world needs industrial engineers because we have a lot of things that need to be understood, to be made, to be improved, and to be made better. The global program is going to give the industrial engineering professional, these aspects that are going to give him or her a global perspective. So the students are going to be able to have interactions with people and organizations from different parts of the world, and they're going to be able to apply their knowledge while they're in the academic program in this global setting with a global perspective. This is important because right now the problems that we need to solve have a local impact, but they're really global problems that we need to solve. So that perspective that the global program is going to give them is important. And the other is that the English component is very important because English is right now is still the language that we use for business, as a common denominator for communication in business, in engineering. And throughout the program, the students are going to be able to practice and develop English in a setting where they're going to be talking about technical issues, situations, problems that have to do with their academic program. And this is something interesting and important about this that I'll make even more emphasis about is that, again, they're going to be doing it in settings where they're going to be interacting with different people from different organizations. So as I mentioned, the faculty that teach in the program, some are faculty from CETYS, like myself, that teach classes in English. But we have a lot of guest faculty, and I like to make an example. So, for example, we have Dr. Dan Shunk, which is part of our guest Distinguished Chairs program. He is an industrial engineer from Arizona State University. You can Google him, Dr. Dan Shunk, S-H-U-N-K, from Arizona State University. He has ample experience in industrial engineering with a very important and interesting resume of background of working with companies. He's redesigned processes for Intel, for Kenworth, for a bunch of companies. And so he is an expert in industrial engineering, and he teaches classes for our industrial engineering students. And by the way, our students interact with this faculty since first semester. So in first semester, Dr. Dan Shunk comes over and he gives students an innovation and a new product development workshop. Okay, but again, this is the perspective from an academic and a professional that's coming from abroad, that's coming from the United States. So that global perspective that our industrial engineers are going to have, that is very, very important and pertinent right now in the world. And these professionals are going to have those characteristics, and that's going to make them very, very attractive for organizations to hire.
Perfect. And well, for the last, we know that the College of Engineering has several research and linkage projects as part of the Center of Design and Innovation. Can this degree program be part of those activities?
Yes, that's a great question. The College of Engineering, I believe that one of the strengths that we have as a college is that we have very strong linkages with industry. Now, the linkages with industry that we have are obviously with regional industry, but the regional industry here in Baja California has a global footprint. So even though companies are located either in Mexicali, Tijuana, Ensenada, Tecate, these are companies that have a global footprint. So we have very strong linkages with companies. And we have a figure in the College of Engineering that's called the Center for Innovation and Design. Our Center of Excellence for Innovation and Design, basically what it does is that it's the arm of the College of Engineering to be in contact with industry for the development of projects and research. So what happens there? Through the Center for Innovation and Design, a company can come to us with a specific problem that they need to be solved, and we put faculty and students to work on that problem. It might be a problem for the development of a new product. It might be a problem that has to do with the optimization of a production line. But also, it might be the situation where we need to do research on a particular topic that a company or another partner university wants to do. Same model. We take students and we take faculty and we put them to work on those. Some examples of this. Currently, we have research lines through the Center for Innovation and Design that have to do with operational excellence, autonomous vehicles for various applications. We also have an advanced aerospace and advanced technology group that is a very interesting group with participation of students and faculty from the 3 campuses. And this group is mentored by astronaut Jose Hernandez. Okay. The group is developing designs for satellites, for nanosatellites. And they're currently working with Jose Hernandez. In all of these projects that I've mentioned, our global program students can participate and are participating actually in some of these various initiatives that we have. So these are great opportunities because that's an additional complementary element where a student, if he or she wants to develop projects or research in a specific field, we have great opportunities in the Center for Innovation and Design to do that.
Okay, well, thank you so much. Right now, we're going to ask some of the questions that you guys asked here on the transmission. What's the best advice for an engineering student graduating this year? Do's and don'ts.
Oh, that's an interesting question. So as I understand it, we're talking about an actual student that's about to graduate right now. And you're going to take that step forward into the real world not as a student, but as a professional. I'll just throw out some ideas of some recommendations that I would give. First off, it's very important to polish and review your resume. Okay, have your resume ready. take advice from other academics or professionals that have done resumes so they can review your resume. There are certain elements in the resume that are very important to have in the resume and to be clear about them. So whoever reads your resume automatically understands who you are and what you can do. So the review of the resume is very important. Practice interview skills, okay? Some jobs are obtained or lost in the interview. Even if the resume is a perfect resume, the interview process is very, very important. Another thing that I would recommend is that keep your mind and your options open to working in different fields of knowledge, okay? As I was mentioning before, right now there are many, many challenges in the world that are new challenges that are going to need new professionals with new perspectives. So the question said do's and don'ts. One thing that I always say that it's a don't is don't say, I am just going to be focused on this area. I am just going to be focused on solving problems that have to do with A or B or C. Keep your mind open to be flexible to addressing problems that are of different areas of knowledge. Again, right now for the situation that's happening around the world, the health industry is going to require a lot of professionals, and it's going to require a lot of engineers. These situations that are happening around the world are going to create opportunities for professionals. Be very, very in tune with what's happening around the world so you can identify these opportunities and go towards them. Another recommendation that I can give, in the case of our students at CETYS University and the College of Engineering, all of our students have to do a minimum requirement of internships and professional practice. So our students graduate with experience in their resumes. If you don't have that experience, you need to get that experience and be a little bit patient in finding organizations where you can get that experience, and that's going to add value. And lastly, if there are any other opportunities for you to increase your knowledge and your skills, be that through training or even studying a master's program. And CETYS University also offers very interesting alternatives for master's program, for graduate programs. That is also going to give you that edge or advantage as a professional. So those are some of the things that I would recommend. And I would stress the part of the resume. Have your resume be reviewed by somebody that can give you advice as to how to make it better.
Thank you so much. That was a great answer. We are very thankful to Dr. Jorge Sosa, Dean of the College of Engineering of CETYS Universidad, for joining us this afternoon. For last, we remind you that we have online attention to help you on your admission process from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. on the phones. For the Mexicali campus, 567-3786. And for the Tijuana campus, 903-1800, extension 2201. Or feel free to send us an email at infocetys@cetys.mx. You still have time to start your admission process. Contact us for personalized attention. Do you want to say something for last?
Well, just a couple of things. First, studying engineering at the College of Engineering of CETYS University is one of the best options that you have. So take advantage of the opportunities that we have with our programs. The real world engineering happens here. And the other is hoping everybody is safe, healthy. Be well and be kind. Thank you.
Well, thank you once again. Thank you a lot, Dr. Sosa, for joining us today. And thank you all for joining us, and see you soon, and have a good evening, and please take care, be safe, stay home.